My opinion has waxed and waned over the past 24 hours about what to say exactly about what has happened in the Senate. Now, quite obviously, there are going to be at least two of the people who are most likely to be elected as senators who clearly, well, let's put it politely, are not ready for prime time. One of them would be probably inappropriate for the office. Another probably mightn't be up to it at this point in time, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. That's it. They didn't cheat anyone. None of the minor parties actually cheated their way to power. However, it is pretty fair to say that some of these parties, well, they would barely have a moral right to suggest that they have been swept to power by anything less than a system that is clearly deeply broken. I want to show you some numbers because these are the numbers in each of the states that were the first preference votes of the variety of parties that will most likely take up the 5th or 6th Senate spots in most of these, the lowest of which is the Australian Sports Party. Now, this party has virtually no detail apart from kids should kick footies and there should be more parks for them to kick footies in. Other than that, nothing. 1,900 votes, and they could end up being able to decide whether Australia has or doesn't have a carbon tax. The Australian Motoring Enthusiasts Party, yes, this is the poo fighter. Dear God. That is 11,878 votes. The Palmer United Party has done pretty well on 19,000, and obviously the Palmer United Party is a more organised force, and we all knew what we were getting when it came to that. The same as Family First. Palmer United clearly well and truly deserving its spot in a smashing 10% of the vote in Queensland. Well done to Glenn Lazarus and the machine behind the Palmer United Party. Good, bad or indifferent, that's a massive result. And as for the Liberal Democrat Party, well, 8% of the vote, they get there. But obviously, the donkey vote counted. They were number one on the ballot paper. But fair dinkum, I understand why New South Wales get that senator. I understand how Queensland gets that senator. I maybe understand how Family First gets there. But dear God, how do we get the Australian Motoring Enthusiasts and the Australian Sports Party? We get there because the system has been broken. As I said, these people mightn't be fit for prime time. To be honest, a couple of them are going to embarrass themselves, and it's not going to be a fun couple of years. Most are right-leaning, so I think when it comes to things like the carbon tax, I wouldn't be surprised if that does actually bite the dust. But what do they believe about paid parental leave? I don't know. Including one of the people who's a potential senator, he openly admitted he doesn't know either. The system is what is broken here. It's not unfair, it's not illegal, it's not immoral, it's the system that we have. Now, we all bleat about normal people making their way one day into Parliament. Well, guess what? You're about to get some very normal people that are going to make it into the Senate. Whether they're up to the task or not, I repeat, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. My faith is not in there with a couple of them. But the system clearly needs to change. So how do we change the system? Now, people like Anthony Green are suggesting that you have optional preferential voting above the line. So if you want to, you walk in and you vote, say, 1 for the Liberal Party, and you walk away. Your vote will go no further than 1 for the Liberal Party. If you want to, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you decide where your vote goes between the parties. Or if you want to vote below the line, the suggestions are that you would only have to go 1 through 10 for candidates, rather than in New South Wales 1 to 110. Now, these seem like pretty reasonable reforms, because it is an Australian's right to run for Parliament. It's an Australian's right to team up with other people who are running for Parliament who are all united by one belief, that there are other options than the Liberal or the Labor Party. But the system can't allow somebody who got 1,900 votes, meaning 1,900 people walked into a ballot booth and said, you're the bloke that I want to put into the Senate, in a state that's a little bigger than 1,900 people, in a country that's a little bigger than 1,900 people. Congratulations on your win, sir. We'll see how you go for the next 3 years. But clearly, the system is broken. And while Labor supporters will be more than happy to turn around and say, Tony Abbott, get ready for dealing with the difficult numbers in the Senate, the problem is this works both ways. That's why both major parties will get together. That's why both major parties will make a change. And the change will be to something like optional preferential voting up in the Senate, or at the very least, a 1 to 10 system below the line, so sanity can prevail. Otherwise, strap in. It's going to be a fun 6 years, and we'll be watching every night.